What's up, guys? Today I'm going to take you through a music video teaser I shot recently where we achieved some very expensive, high-level looking shots very quickly and on an extreme budget. And by extreme budget, I mean no money at all, like $0. We're broke, okay? First obvious step here is to watch it, so crank that volume up, make it full screen, and enjoy. Yes, so that is the music video teaser, and I'm super stoked about it. It is probably one of the better looking things I've ever made. Shot that with my buddy Hugh Lindsay. He's a local artist here. He's a musician. You can check him out on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. He's everywhere. I'll link all that stuff below. He's awesome. Him and I do some awesome creative stuff together. He loves visuals just as much as I do, and I love music just as much as he does, so we make a great little duo there. And the reason we shot this whole thing was basically we were in between music videos. We were looking for something creative to do in between big projects that take a long time and more money to produce. We decided, like, hey, we've got a couple weeks here, like let's brainstorm some fun ideas and make something creative. So we landed on doing this music video teaser trailer thing. Our goal is to keep it super simple, yet really cinematic and kind of artsy and stylish at the same time, just to make it seem like it's this huge level production type thing. So we shot 3 separate days. Each one was a different scene and location, kind of feel and vibe. So I filmed a lot of behind the scenes. I'll just take you through the shoot days on set, and we'll bump back here and I can explain kind of how we were able to achieve a really expensive look with basically no time and money. So let's get into it. All right, it's like 5:23 in the morning right now. I'm on my way to go shoot a scene for this music video teaser video. This is the second attempt to wake up on time and actually go shoot this. Yesterday morning, I slept through 3 alarms and totally ruined our whole entire shoot. So I woke up extra early. I'm gonna go get Krispy Kreme donuts to make it up to Hugh, my buddy I'm filming with, because I never miss a shoot. I feel horrible, and I also kind of want donuts. And I think it'd be kind of funny, so let's go do that. Yeah, of course, I'm at Krispy Kreme, and the guy in front of me ordered $56 worth of stuff. It's like 5:45, I'm already late now. Not worth it. Or is it? Thank you. Yep. All right, I slept through my alarms yesterday, missed the shoot, got donuts this morning. It made me late because I wanted to make up for the shoot yesterday. Got pulled over, got a ticket, and now I'm sitting here waiting on a train. If you think video shoots don't go badly, you're wrong. It's a rough morning so far. We're not off to a good start. Not gonna lie though, donuts make it worth it. Makes everything better. So we'll see how the rest of the shoot goes.
I was thinking this morning, we're filmmakers. You know what film starts with?
Huh.
An F. You know what else starts with F? Flexible.
And check it out. I was thinking ahead. I got us donuts to make up for yesterday, completely missing. So we have donuts.
I'm 40 minutes late.
Yeah, so day one was a sunrise shoot. It was like 25 degrees out. It was rough, but it was a beautiful morning. The plan for the day was to basically get the shot of a suit hanging in a field, but we were gonna light it on fire in this open field with this really cool looking abandoned church in the background, and that was the goal for that day. All right, get out of there, get out of there. You look great, dude, get out. Yeah. Run, run, run. So location scouting is massive when it comes to making a video or production seem really high level and expensive. You would be surprised the locations you can find for free, whether it's someone who is gonna let you use the place and like owns it, or if it's a random field and you can kind of just like sneak in and then get out. So location can obviously make or break your production, and if you just go find a free location that looks epic like this, I mean, this is the simplest of locations, but it brought it up a notch whenever we were filming. Just the texture of the church in the background, it had such a eerie, moody vibe to it. And then we had, you know, this maroon suit, which has a lot of like vintage kind of tone to it. And just like lighting it on fire is just the most like A24 artsy thing you can think of. So location can really just take it up a notch and make it look that much better, you know. And instead of just using an open field or just like some trees behind it, you know, finding an old church that goes behind it, or a fence, or some kind of nice backdrop with a lot of texture, a lot of history and kind of like implied story to it. And also lighting was free. I mean, we just used the sunlight. There's no bounce. There's no like massive big old lights out or anything like that. And honestly, if you want something to look really cinematic, Blue Hour, especially Sunrise Blue Hour, has this just super moody cinematic lighting effect. It's soft, and it kind of gives a blue hue, Blue Hour. And the last thing for the scene that I think just took it up a notch and made it seem more expensive was the wardrobe. So like what Hugh was wearing, I mean, it was just a pair of pants he owned and then suspenders he had. And we decided to take the shirt off just to kind of give this real edgy kind of like Peaky Blinders kind of vibe. And that was a game time decision while we were filming. It just kind of sold the color grade as well. I mean, again, his skin tones looked amazing with the bluish kind of Blue Hour around him and the kind of the cold frostiness on the grass and whatnot. So, and then the props really kind of elevated his wardrobe as well. Had this old rusty kind of metal red looking gas can or whatever. It completed that look, you know what I mean? So don't skimp out on, you know, the outfits. Like, tell your talent and subjects like what you want them to wear exactly. Think about it, like intentionally think about it for a while. And the props, think about like, oh, instead of using this thing that I have available right here, what if I just put a little effort in and look for something like that fit the story or the vibe more, and that could elevate the whole entire scene. Those are the three things that we did that basically made this look really awesome with no extra cost. And we've only filmed for like 30 minutes because Blue Hour only lasts, you know, like 15 to 30 minutes really. That's a wrap, dude.
It's a wrap.
How you feel about it?
Dude, despite the few things that went wrong this morning,
yes,
we got a lot done.
We did. Even though we were late,
yeah,
we made things happen.
Yeah, in the short amount of time that we had,
yeah,
we got a lot done.
Dude,
I got you a bagel.
Coming in clutch, man.
Sausage, egg, and cheese.
Yes. It's currently 6 a.m., 27 degrees. We're actually early to the location, which never happens.
We did it.
We did it for once. It's foggy and it's gonna be amazing. I can't wait. All right, guys. Sun is finally coming up. We're gonna head into the woods and start filming. It is still under 30 degrees and we're gonna dump water all over Hugh. So hopefully he doesn't get hypothermia and die, but anything for the art, right? Today we each have a couple wood shots and scenes to do. We got the suitcases and some noose shots, and then the soaking wet shots and a running shot. And that's about it. There's no fog in the trees, unfortunately, of course. But you know, I have a plan for that. So I've got a 4Runner with an outlet in the back, and I've always wanted to see if my fog machine would work if I plug it into there, and I think it will. So we're just gonna dump some fog in these trees, hopefully get like an epic foggy scene, and I'll just run it out the back of my car. So we'll see if it works. The new scene was super simple. We just set up some suitcases with some clothes falling out of it, and that was it. And the Sherlock Holmes scene was the main scene we wanted to knock out and really accomplish and do it well. Took inspiration from Sherlock Holmes. I think it's like the second one or third one or whatever, where they're running through the woods, and it speed ramps and is tracked onto his head, and it looks just absolutely incredible. I actually have a whole video breaking that down, so I'm not gonna break down how I did that in this video. So go check that video if you're interested in how I accomplished that, again with barely any equipment and no money. Just a quick rundown, we basically just threw my camera on a gimbal and I just sprinted as fast as I could along Hugh, and we ran in between those rows and lanes of pine trees. That way we had some like foreground moving through. And to really sell the effect, I took my really nice, expensive fogger and plugged it into my 4Runner and ran an extension cord out into the woods and basically just fogged up the woods as much as I could. We shot downwind from it, so that way it would kind of like, roll its way through the shot where we were running. And that really sold that effect. Like whenever I color graded it later, it just really sold that like bluish, hazy war scene kind of look, especially how you see it in Sherlock Holmes. I mean, it was like pretty dang close. All right, we just did the running in the woods shot. We tried to fog it up. Some guy stopped and thought we had like a fire going. But now we're gonna do the soaking wet shots. So last shot of the day, sun's really coming up over here, so we need to make sure we hurry up here and get this done before it gets too bright out. But this is gonna be some banger shots, and yeah, I'm pretty excited. So after that, we had the water scene, is what we called it. And we decided to make him soaking wet to kind of add another element to the shot where, he's steaming because it was freezing cold out and water dripping off him, and wet clothes always kind of like have a cool look to them. And the sun was getting a little higher now. It wasn't quite blue hour, it was actually sunrise, but in the trees it was kind of peeking through. So we fogged it up again, get those light rays coming in. We had the mud around him. I mean, all of that together really sold this like epic looking shot. Free lighting, free location, and some free props, just water, and that's it. And it's funny because we don't have a big crew. I mean, it's just him and I, right? And he's in it and I'm the one filming. So when we would try to film this scene, I'd have to run like 50 meters to the fog machine because we had it upwind, so that way it would float towards the scene, not away from it. And then I would blast the woods with some fog. I would run over, grab the 5-gallon drum, dump water all over him to kind of freshen it up, chuck the drum, grab my camera, hit record, and then he would just get in a character and start going. We would just do that like 3 or 4 times. Nice job, dude. How you feeling?
A little chilly.
So one of my favorite things to do, this is unrelated to what's happening at the moment, is when I see kids playing Fortnite, I always ask them if they're playing PUBG.
This is Dave. This is the guy's garage. This is an awesome setup. Get your pipe out, dude. Let me see your pipe.
my church warden pipe?
Yeah, look at this Gandalf pipe he's got here.
And that's exactly what it is.
Yeah?
A Hobbit pipe.
That's awesome.
I feel like I look silly smoking it,
no.
but it is the best smoking pipe
You look
out of my collection.
You look amazing. This is his awesome garage. He's built this place out and splitting us film here and make awesome content. So day 3 was when we got the extremely good-looking, high-level production kind of shots. Again, all came down to this amazing location. It was completely free. Hugh knew a guy, Dave. He is a vintage things collector and extreme creative himself. He does pretty much everything. Super nice, and let us use his garage. I pulled a lot of inspiration for this one from the new It movie, when they are watching the slide projector in the garage. I just really liked that kind of dingy garage look, and he really kind of had that for us with that wall of just kind of little things he had in there, and TVs and radios and stuff like that. So the lighting for this scene was super practical. I mean, we had the shot where he was sitting there with the projector on his face. Dave just had this vintage projector laying around, so we just flipped it on, and that was the key light on Hugh's face. So it gave just this warm key light, and then, we had the background with lots of texture and lots of just interesting things going on back there. And I wanted to light it up and create this teal and orange look. So I took an Aperture MC light and placed it behind Hugh where he was sitting, and it was kind of spilling all over the room and casting weird shadows, and it looked really artificial and fake. And so we took a pizza box and just laid it out on each side of the Aperture MC light to basically flag off the light and keep it just on the background, right where I wanted it. So again, free pizza box out of the recycling bin, and we had the TV that was on the shelf behind him. That's a back kind of hair light thing, and it was, flickering and moving around quite a bit, and it had a bluish hue to it. So it contrasted that tungsten key light from the projector, really giving it that filmy teal and orange look that I was going for and really wanted. So lighting was literally almost all practical. The Aperture MC light was the only light that was production light, and it's a $90 light. The next thing we did to take it up a notch and make it seem more expensive and high end is to haze up the room. Again, I used this $60 fogger from Spirit Halloween. It literally is the cheapest piece of crap I've ever seen, but I've had it for like over 2 years now, if not more, and never changed the juice, never cleaned it, and it still works like a charm. And here's the thing, you don't have to even buy a fog machine. Like, if you have 60 bucks, go to Spirit Halloween during October or whatever and go buy one. But if that's even too much for you, there's atmosphere spray in the can. I think they run like 15 bucks or something like that. And if you're like really tight on money and just don't want to spend money on this production, then go grab your cool vape friend and have them just blow clouds for you the whole time while you film. I mean, seriously, there's so many ways to haze up a room. So that's basically how we shot the thing and kept it simple and cheap and fast. Again, it took us only 3 days, a couple hours per shoot. So then I just had to edit it, and that took about 4 to 5 days, just a couple to a few hours a day. And this is where I really took it up a notch and tried to add some things to make it seem more, high budget and expensive. The first thing I did was put some overlays on it. Overlays are an amazing way to take your footage up a notch and just make it seem so much cooler than it really is. Overlays can be like lens flares and refractive light, light leaks, grain and CRT and all kinds of crazy stuff. The next thing is kind of obvious, but it's the soundtrack. You need to find good music for your video. It needs to fit, it needs to evoke emotion, it needs to help progress and tell the story, and help control that pacing. And when you find a song that fits your video, don't just put the whole thing in there and then cut the video to the length of the song, or take a section of the song and just cut it to that. I mean, really sit down, analyze the song, find the parts you like, the parts you don't like, see where it gets really loud and big and where it's really chill and quiet, and use those to bring more dynamic to your video, like really remix the song. You almost have to become your own DJ, remixing the whole entire song to what you want it to be. I mean, if you notice in the teaser, I have a section where it basically cuts out completely and it's just heartbeats and breathing and a lot of sound design, stuff like that. And that cutting everything off right before the major drop and the big climax of the video, I think sold that climax even more, because it just went from rising music to just nothing, right? And then sound design. And then it's like, bam, it comes back in. Stop just throwing in your songs and editing to it. I mean, really think about what you're doing and why you're doing it. And after that, I did some sound design, which is so crucial to videos. You've probably heard this a lot on YouTube. It's a hot topic nowadays, and it should be, because without sound design, your video is not gonna feel very high production. It's not gonna feel expensive. It's gonna feel very amateur. So when I sound design, I pretty much fake all the sounds. If I don't make the sound myself or capture it on location, I go to freesound.com or whatever and get all my sounds for free from there. It's completely legal and royalty free, and it's a great resource, and again, no budget. Just real quick, I wanna show you the difference sound design made in this video and how it brought it up to a whole new level, which sometimes when I sound design, I almost think like, wow, it's almost better without a soundtrack. The soundtrack is there to supplement everything else, you know what I mean? Sound design, in my opinion, should be above soundtrack, even though it all works together. So here's the clip with just sound design. It blows my mind how much more dynamic and how much it sucks you into the scene whenever you have really good sound design like that. So sound design is a must. Take the time to do it. It's worth it, even though it seems like it's not while you're doing it, because you're like, I can't even hear it, but it's totally worth it, I promise. The last thing that I did to bring this thing up a notch is obviously color grading. I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of crap for this. I did shoot raw on a cinema camera. I shot with the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro. However, raw is amazing, but it's not necessary. It's actually harder and more work, and sometimes I consider not using it. So I'm not gonna get like super in depth with the color grading, but basically, you take this shot, for example, I basically start with the raw, and I go from the raw to Rec 709, and then the Rec 709 is just a good contrast and basic saturation starting place for me. After Rec 709, I usually put on a creative LUT, which is where I start getting my hue shifts and real kind of color tones that I'm looking for that give it a more stylish look. And then after that, I usually throw on a correction layer where I kind of fix the skin tones, the shadows, the highlights, little tweaks like that that change from clip to clip. And sometimes after that, I'll even add a secondaries layer where I'll go into a secondaries panel on Lumetri Color and I'll isolate the skin tones of the background or whatever and just accentuate that teal and orange look or whatever I'm trying to go for. And that's it, guys. With only a week or two, a couple of shoots, and no money, and we just took basic principles of filmmaking and executed them well, which is what filmmaking is. So that's it. I hope you guys learned a lot from this video, or a little, or just mildly entertained at least. If you enjoyed this, go check out my breakdown of the first music video we shot, and especially the Sherlock Holmes effect breakdown. Super interesting how we did that. And if you're able and willing, hit that subscribe button, like this video. It helps the algorithm, helps me, gets my videos out there. I'd appreciate it a lot. And I will see you guys in the next video.